Hey, this is Whit Watson from Golf Channel, and you are listening to Verbal Shenanigans.
But our shenanigans are cheeky and fun.
Yeah, I mean, his shenanigans are cruel and tragic.
Which makes them not shenanigans at all, really. Evil shenanigans.
I swear to God, I'll pistol whip the next guy that says shenanigans.
Hey, everybody, this is it. 2 more episodes to go, and that's the end of this show, Mike. 500 and out. That was our goal from the beginning.
Yep. I mean, I already bought up every firework in Georgia. It's just sitting here in my basement. I have my dogs guarding at all times. The second we're done hitting 500, I'm not even bringing them outside. I'm just putting down the lighter and let the party begin.
Yeah, that's it, guys. So we got about 3 hours of audio left for you guys to hear, and we'll ride off into the sunset. And
unless we lose track of time, then we have 12 hours and 2 episodes.
Mm-hmm. And then call it a day. So you guys better enjoy this one, because this is kind of it, guys. You know.
Here's to the night we felt alive.
If we were to say 500 was the last episode,
yeah,
how would you want to go out? What would be the ending bit, or would we just say goodbye and never come back?
I would say considering nobody says hello when we start the episode, we might as well just walk off without telling anybody.
Just do the worst bit possible.
Yep.
I was thinking about this the other day. I was like, we've had some terrible conversations over the years when low weeks on the episode. I remember at one point, one episode, we were looking at different options for lunch boxes for me. That was one of our conversations. So, we probably had some low points along the way.
A few, probably a good 35%, somewhere in that.
35%. Wow. But no, we're not going anywhere, buddy. You're contractually obligated for another 500. So
unless that curse is real and you do end up dying with me around at some point.
That is true. True.
You know how bad it was, that bit last week? My wife actually reminded me of one I forgot about. That's how bad it is. I'm not sure if it was brought up in the podcast, but
let's also refresh people what we're talking about here.
Yes. Scott believes I have an inordinate amount of events that end with, and I saw a dead body.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they're just wild coincidences, but he just wants to declare I am the walking curse and dead people come because of me.
Well, let's let the listeners decide. Why don't you go through some of the dead people you see? Now, I had a conversation with coworkers and Dom, who's been on our podcast. We said that more than one is almost an exorbitant amount of dead people, random dead people. Now, this doesn't count wakes or being by someone's, bedside at death, just random dead people. I can think of one that I've seen on the Parkway in a motorcycle accident. I saw the guy covered in the sheet and it was pretty gnarly. Can't think of any others. You go ahead. Why don't you rattle off your dead people?
All right. Grandma was dead on the couch, the one that stole my baseball cards and gave it to her boyfriend. Let's see. There was the story from yesterday where I was grocery shopping and I turned a corner and there was pretty much a dead man on the floor as they were trying to give him heart palpitations or whatever. Mm-hmm. There was the guy in India that as I was there visiting and I was at the Ganges River and looking at the Buddha statue.
Right.
And there was a big gathering on their side. And a local person came up and said, "Hey, that's a dead body over there." Thought it was a joke, walked over there to see a brown beach ball. And the brown beach ball had a flannel shirt on.
Yep.
And apparently when you don't have enough money for funerals, that's what you do in India. You just chuck your loved one in the river.
Mm-hmm.
That was 3. You brought up, even though I did not see the dead body, my previous work building, there was a dead body found in the river many, I would say probably 2 years after I worked there.
Not only are you linked to dead bodies, you're linked to 2 dead bodies in rivers. Like, that's not also a common occurrence.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's a wild coincidence, but those were like the 4 I remember we brought up on the podcast.
Yeah.
So I talked to the wife, and she's laughing at the fact, and she's like running off the stories, and she's like, the next door neighbor. And I'm like, what? And she reminded me how we saw a bunch of flashing lights outside, and our next door neighbor on the one side had passed away, and the cops were like bringing the body out. He had like a heart attack or something. The family was crying out there.
Uh-huh.
And the neighbor across the street was like saying on our Facebook page how it's like, there was drugs in there. I saw the cops bringing out bags that were clearly drug bags, and they're clearly drug dealers, blah, blah, blah.
Uh-huh.
And, yeah, so and she told me that, I'm like, oh, man, that puts me at like 5 right now. And,
Yeah. Essentially, you moved into the neighborhood, and the death spell came with you.
yeah. Another fun fact. And
There's another one.
Yeah, as I told you how I went to the Kroger, and that's where I found the dead body.
Uh-huh.
The Kroger in Atlanta, our neighbor said that was also a running trail that we go through, was hilariously called the Murder Kroger because it was in the heart of Atlanta where murders happen.
Not to mention you had the murder trail that you used to run on.
That is true. When we were running, it was pitch black. I noticed we stopped right in front of the memorial of the dead person. This person was dead way before I came to Georgia, so I don't feel like this body should count against my total in any way, whatsoever.
Your total.
Yeah.
You're the only man whose body count, real body count, outweighs his probably sexual body count.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. Like I can give a number, and they're like, "Hey, that's not bad." I'm like, "Yeah, we're talking about dead bodies, right?" What? People we slept with.
Burlew-n, as we put it last week.
Yes, the delicious nickname that I'm sure will never come up on this podcast again.
No, I'm sure that I haven't started planning a Halloween game based around the name Burlew-n, but that would never happen. No, and no reason I will have to watch the movie to learn the dialect of said Nosferatu to be prepared for said game. Yeah, right. So, only like 9 months away. You got time.
Yeah, we're just killing time on our last 2 episodes, people. This has nothing to do with the future.
You should go straight like method actor and just be in character for the next 9 months. Real Daniel Day-Lewis commitment to performance.
Burlew, we want to talk about how you came into work and you bit somebody's neck that day. A method!
Burlew, we have a NASCAR driver as a guest this week. Can you please drop the vampire accent as you talk to him?
No can do. I don't know when this game is going to drop, and I have to be prepared, man.
Wouldn't that be a great podcast? You invite all these interesting guests on, and they don't know that the co-host just talk like a vampire the entire episode.
I don't know what's worse, actually doing it or doing it, and we become the most popular podcast of all time, where it's like, it's like Larry the Cable Guy. You can't like come on the show and not do the accent in that scenario.
Let me tell you, when you do finally watch Nosferatu, the accent that you're going to have to eventually match is really tough. like
so any accent is what you're telling me.
Yes, much harder than your Russian/Jamaican accent that you you have mastered over the years, but so much to a point where I watched the movie and like almost the accent, like at certain points, was the amazing part of the scene, which is kind of crazy to to say, like, you're like, wow, like the voice acting is crazy. But anyway, we talked about Nosferatu last week. We'll get into something. I will get into something equally as horrifying as a vampire that brings death.
Is it me?
No. So I went to a 1 year old birthday party with some of my friend's daughter was turning 1, and
I hope you brought your kids with you because that would have been awkward.
yeah, brought the kids. In fact, it revolves around my son here.
All right.
So the kids are off playing in the house, and we're not really watching. My son's 4, so he can go kind of play with the other kids. You don't really watch them that much. You check in from time to time, or if they come crying, you deal with the problem. But all of a sudden, I hear like a little commotion going on in the other room. I'm like, what the hell is that? And now I hear my wife like asking, like, Shay, like, did you poop? Did you gotta go poop? And she took him up to poop. And she's like, oh yeah, like he made a mess, like it was all down his leg or whatever. I'm like, that's weird, because like he doesn't really have poop accidents these days. So I'm like,
okay,
that's weird. So she's like, yeah, like it was all down his leg. I had to clean him up. And so he gets dressed and goes back out and play. Then I hear a little bit more commotion about a half hour later, and the owner of the house, the mother of the 1-year-old birthday party, goes, yeah, there's a turd on the steps in the house, like a just straight up turd sitting on like the 3rd step of the staircase.
Wild coincidence.
Yeah. So right away, me and my wife look at each other like, oh God, like we're never getting invited back here again. It had to be our son, right? It had to match up. And
did you do any turd science to confirm it?
Well, we tried to, like, because I'm still to this day kind of like not 100% sure how the turd escaped the pants. Like, he had sweatpants on. He did kind of have like, I don't know what they're called, like harem pants. Like they're like almost like the MC Hammer ones, where they're a little wider at the top and skinnier at the bottom. So I don't know if it rolled out and somehow got out the leg, or did he just like pull his pants down, shoot a turd out on the steps, and then just like continue playing with the other kids?
Did you make sure he had his undie patches on, out of curiosity? That is a definite possibility there.
I forgot that. I had forgotten that day. You have not sent me the prototype for 4-year-olds. You only sent me the full-size adult.
I told you the adult is already patented. I am working on the children. And you could have cut yours in half and provided to your son. What's wrong with you?
So I ask him, I'm like, hey, Shay, did you poop on the stairs? And he's like, just gives me like a sheepish face. I'm like, you pooped on the stairs? He's like, yeah, I couldn't make it to the toilet. I'm like, what happened, bud? Did you pull your pants down and go? Did it fall out your pants? And he just would not answer me. He would just keep smiling and be like, yeah, I didn't make it to the toilet. So there's this mysterious turd on the stairs as all these kids are just playing, and people are going up and down those stairs to go to the bathroom. So yeah, that's Turd Gate.
Now, was it like a full solid one? Or are we talking like flowing over the steps, if you will?
No, I did not see the said turd, because the owner picked it up. The girl picked it up, because
I'll tell you one thing. Somebody poops in my house, I am screaming, I don't care who it is. I won't look, but somebody's going down and picking up that turd for me.
If you have a bunch of little kids and they're running up and down the stairs, you're just going to leave that turd there?
100%. I'll be like, children, either stay down there or come up on your own risk. That is not my turd. I am not picking up other children's turds in my household. I could see you putting like caution tape around the turd and be like, carry on, kids. Like, just run around the turd. Yeah, I mean, I'll have to keep the dogs away so they don't try to play with the turd and stuff like that. But, as the provider of the household, when I bring guests over, I am under the assumption that if a turd that is not my own is on the steps, it is your responsibility to obtain it and discard it in your own manner. That's the Burlew turd policy that's on the wall when you enter. Like, you haven't come to my house yet, but this is like early gauging you to understand what happens when you come into a Burlew household. Like, if I take you to Big Wild Hank's house, same deal, man. Really? So it's a policy that's been passed down from generation to generation. When we went from Buckaloo to Burlew, We would just like, all right, we're no longer stealing horses and we're not picking up other people's turds. Okay.
So she picked up the turd and said it was a solid turd. Like it looked like straight up like a Play-Doh turd. How he didn't make more of a mess, I don't know. There was no evidence on his pants. There was no evidence on his underwear, but yet the turd escaped the sweatpants.
What if he thought he'd be like the funny person at the party? What if like before you went, he like got a Ziploc bag, went in there, and then like placed it on the step?
Yes,
in my household.
My 4-year-old son got a Ziploc bag.
Yeah.
Placed a turd in it and brought it to a party.
Well, you can't just have it loose in your pocket, Scott. It's just going to wrangle all around with your change and it'd just be disgusting in there. No, that's why you get the Ziploc bag. They keep it fresh. It's got the double zipper thing going there.
Yes, he is that genius as a 4-year-old to make a plan that he's going to a party and he's going to leave a turd on the steps.
And to add to the mystery, he'll have like regular poop issues, so you can't figure out that he brought it from home.
So he's planning well ahead of time.
Yeah, he's got the Ziploc bags. He's eating buffalo wings. He's got this whole thing set. He's like, what is he, 4 right now?
4, yeah.
4, yes. It's like, I'm too old for these 1-year-old parties, and I'm going to prove a point that you don't take little Shea Brennan to little kid parties and all. I play with the big leagues, okay? Yeah. So what do? I prep my colon before, during, and after.
I prep my colon.
Yeah.
This doesn't sound like something my son would. This sounds like something you
this
would
is you pure Shea Brennan coming out of my mouth right now. You understand me?
Sounds like something you would conjure up and think it's funny to do to me or something like that.
I'm just going to give you a look.
Yep.
I'm not going to confirm nor deny.
Nope.
Just hold it in. Prep the colon. Yeah.
Are you Doug Maxing me right now?
No, I'm not doing a Doug Max. No, I didn't have a joke how you accidentally touched your son as you were cleaning the poop. So,
well, yeah. So that was Turdgate. Okay. Then another insanity in my family.
Please say it's another turd story. So I have death and you have turds.
Not quite a turd story. No.
So I can ask my coworkers, hey, how many turds have you seen in your lifetime that weren't yours? And then I'd be like, Scott, you're over the limit.
We have talked about how in fact, in something we recorded coming up, we talked about how neither of us have really ever sent anything back in a restaurant, like kind of just power through it. I'll eat a terrible meal. In fact, in one of the games we're going to play in the future, that was a very tough question because I knew you don't do it either, and neither do I. And this isn't about a restaurant, but this is along the lines of sending something back or complaining about something.
All right.
Now, are you a man who would contact customer service for anything, like in that, like if a product didn't meet your standards?
I mean, if you count the FedEx in that month I was waiting for my Christmas calendar, I guess so. But other than that, nothing I can think of off the top of my head.
Okay. So what if I told you my wife contacted customer service over a chocolate bar?
Like, are we talking expensive chocolate bar? Like a very, not, hey, I'm in ShopRite, there's one over the side for $2, so they pick it up.
So we're talking a brand called Ritter Sport, which is I think it's a German chocolate.
John Ritter made a chocolate bar?
Yeah, John Ritter Sport. Yeah.
Oh my God, man. First Three's company, then that. And he's dead.
So there's this chocolate bar it's a German chocolate that our German neighbor that we hang out with all the time brought over. I guess Ritter Sport is a German company. And it was on the counter, and it was like a half coffee, half macchiato duo chocolate bar where like one half was I'm not the biggest chocolate guy, but every once in a while I'll try a piece. So I go, I see it on the counter, try a piece of it. I'm like, it's pretty good. Okay. So my wife goes, oh, did you try that chocolate? And she says, oh, don't eat that. I'm saving that for our neighbor because she never had it either. We're going to eat it together. I'm like, oh, okay.
You have chocolate parties in your neighborhood, and no one's.
That's the excitement I have these days.
Like, do you like send out a text? It's like, I just got to whatchamacallit, everybody come over.
I don't, but she might when I'm not home. But so they come over and hang out, and my wife's like, "Oh, that chocolate was terrible. It was something that like it tasted like it was old or something." And in my head, I'm like, I thought it was pretty good as far as. And then she gives a piece to our German friend, and she's like, "Yeah, I agree." So whatever, they conjure up this plan where they're like, we should contact the company, and I'm like, no, you're not contacting the company. And they're like, yeah, maybe we can get like a bunch of free chocolates or something like that because we eat the product so much. And I'm like, you're not going to do that. You guys are, sure enough. Oh, go ahead.
Like, I'm just like in my head. So they eat the brand a ton. They come across one flavor they don't like. And to reward a company who's obviously gave them tons of chocolate that they love, that they actually have chocolate parties over.
Yeah,
that's what they do. And you just admit it, chocolate parties.
Sure.
Their big plan is to basically demand more product as a thank you for the one sucky product and have multiple chocolate parties to celebrate.
So next day, come home. And my wife's like, you want to hear the email I wrote to the chocolate company? I'm like, no, I don't. She's like, oh, let me read it to you. It's pretty good. I'm like, no, I don't want to hear about
I had a tough day at work, but you wouldn't, it really like brighten up the mood, like a nasty chocolate party email.
So without further ado, here is the draft of my wife's chocolate email. Okay. I also now called my wife and our best friend, German friend over there, the Cocoa Karens is the name I call them now. Okay.
My friend Chocolatey.
Okay. Dear Ritter Sport, I love Ritter Sport chocolate and have been a devoted consumer for 20 years.
Okay. Stop right there. Customer service person is like, guys, all the crap we get from people about our chocolate? Read that first sentence, man. This is going to be a great email. Continue.
It's my favorite chocolate of all the German chocolate brands. I love the variety and, more importantly, the obvious strict adherence to quality standards. And right away, she reads me that first paragraph. I'm like, oh my God, please stop. Like,
she really thought about that one. Like she was getting the thesaurus out. Like she probably had a word and she's like, that's not tight enough. And she's like Googling words just like, and
don't worry. Yes. We're only one paragraph in, Mike.
Oh my goodness.
Recently, I was gifted a Ritter Sport coffee / macchiato duo chocolate bar from my sister. I was very excited to taste this chocolate bar since this was a flavor I had never tasted before. To my great surprise, the chocolate bar, although an entire month before its expiration date, was stale. I was very disappointed because I know Ritter Sport to be a brand driven by its top quality standards.
Could you get your wife on to like read out the standards that she's referring to in said email? No,
I'm actually getting like,
all right, episode 500. Be prepared, audience.
I'm getting the douche chills reading this as a loyal customer of 20 years. I am asking that Ritter Sport right this wrong and send good quality chocolate as an appeasement. By doing so, you will restore my faith and commitment as a loyal Ritter Sport loving fan. Yours, German in America, Alex.
Wait. German in America, Alex?
Maybe it's supposed to say German and American, like from the two of them. I don't know. German in America, maybe. My wife's not German either. So there's a lot of falsities in this email here. She also doesn't have a sister.
I was when you said it, I'm like, dang, I didn't even know that.
No, I guess she's saying that the neighbor is her quote unquote sister. Now,
so she thinks that if she said the neighbor gave me a piece of chocolate, they're like, dirty, stupid neighbor. But since it's from her sister,
yeah,
family.
These type of people, aka apparently my wife now, who are looking for returns and looking for scores or coupons or things. Like, I have a friend, he like the remote in his hotel, the batteries didn't work, and he tried to get a free room out of it. The other day, FanDuel apparently went down, and my one buddy who's a gambling addict got $100, and he also gambles a lot. He got $50. He went and called customer support, and apparently had a manager calling him back because he wanted $100. That kind of behavior drives me crazy. Not saying my wife is. I think they're doing it more out of fun to see if they do get free chocolate, but I can see where this becomes a slippery slope, and then they start being those people.
I'm just worried the German chocolate company will have a child that poops on the steps, that they'll just pick it up and go, let's put it and send it over to America to teach them a little lesson here, if you will.
So you're worried the German chocolate company is going to have a pooping child?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just working for them?
Well, it's kind of like the multiverse. I also assume American stories happen in Germany, and it just could happen at the same time with the chocolate people. And they're just well, let's just press it down to a bar and send it to this whiny American whose sister gave her a chocolate bar who doesn't exist.
I hope there is a multiverse, and you're looking in the mirror one day and your reflection kills you, and that Burlew in the mirror lives on.
Well, that's fine, because there's infinite universes. So by rule, there's infinite Burlews still alive to be with you next week, Scotty.
That would be a hilarious concept for a script. We're going to give away another $1 million idea here, but what if you hate your podcast host and the show is just run its course, and I'm secretly trying to kill you, but the multiverse just keeps bringing you back into my life over and over and over.
Yeah, there's cracks. So you get Burlew from Earth 724 just shows.
Earthlew.
Yeah. And that one has a perfect Jamaican accent, if you will. You're you usually mess up on that, Burlew. I don't understand. I still don't understand how you had arsenic in your system and you lived.
You're just slightly off every week as you have different hair. You're wearing a different jersey. You're there's something a little bizarre about you.
Burlew, you got frosted tips? What the heck?
Ooh, I would love to see you with frosted tips. You should do that. I don't know what's going on.
Bet one of these days. Who knows, Scotty?
Well, we have been talking a little bit on the side about maybe possibly making some kind of, we did the Shenanigans Showdown, which we talked about, which we tried over a year, all these different things, where if we focused it down to a year where there was 4 major games, repeated games, where we know that in the Super Bowl, we're going to do this game. I don't know. May we do this game, almost like bitch that we do where we play against each other. And then there's a consequence of some sort, but we haven't ironed that out yet, but that is a possibility. But
yeah, we gave you plenty of other $1 million ideas, people. Wait on that $1 million idea. Okay.
But speaking of majors, let's not talk about my crazy family anymore. Let's get to our guest.
Well, Scott, tonight we have a returning guest who sent out a communication that we will get into on the next episode. But when I sent it out, he immediately asked, hey, can I come back on the show? And we loved him, so we're bringing him back. Scott, we got a PGA broadcaster and iHeartRadio host of the show, making the cut, recapping all the news in the golf world. We have Mr. Whit Watson joining us on the podcast.
Let's get Whit on the line.
Hello, my friends.
Whit
Going on, Whit?
Watson.
How you doing?
What's going on, man?
Doing well, doing well.
How's my audio? Do you want a microphone or is this okay?
You sound fine to me. Yeah,
Sound fine to us, man.
It's not bad. And for a split second, I thought you had the leg lamp from Christmas Story behind you. Just for a split second, I got excited.
Now there's two lamps.
Yeah.
Close. That's funny.
Where you at right now, Whit?
I'm at home. The PGA show is in town in Orlando this week, so I was out there today. I'm going back out tomorrow. Not traveling for work anytime soon. I've actually got Gary Christian, the former PGA Tour player who does work for Golf Channel and PGA Tour Live, is staying with us tonight. He was here last night and tonight. He drove down last minute from Alabama to go to the PGA show. So
when you're not working, you just can't get enough. You just bring PGA guys.
I just bring guys in. Yeah, they call me and say, hey, can I come hang?
I'm like, can you come here? It's either that or talk to the wife. I don't know. We don't really watch movies together. It's awkward,
Easy to do it. No, it's all good.
No, man. So Whit, I gotta talk to you about this TGL, man. It's starting to really boom here and all. How early on did you hear about this and all? What were your initial thoughts?
One of the co-founders, Mike McCarley, was my former boss at Golf Channel. So we knew about it quite a while ago. I went down there for the media day in December and saw the building and saw a rehearsal they did. They had Billy Horschel and Wyndham Clark and Ricky Fowler came out and did like a demonstration of how it works. So I knew what it looked like before it was on TV. I actually just found out today that I got approved for credentials for this coming week, which is the Tiger versus Rory on Monday. Nice. I was supposed to go yesterday, but I have the PGA show. So I sent them an email and said, can I please, reapply for credentials for next week? And they were like, well, it's kind of tight because it's Tiger and Rory for the first time. And so I just found out today that they've got a seat for me. So I'm going to go down there next Monday. Like I said, I've seen the rehearsals, but I'm going to see it as live action for the first time. So I'm looking forward to that.
So when you saw the rehearsals and you saw this idea as coming to fruition, what were your initial thoughts? Were you impressed right away? Were you questionable? Like what were your thoughts?
Well, it's a $50 million building that was built from scratch after the previous version got knocked over by a storm, sitting on the campus of Palm Beach State College, which I didn't know existed until this league built a building there. The technology is off the charts. It's ridiculous how amazing everything is. What we don't know yet is how it translates into an entertainment product.
Sure.
And I did a few radio interviews and I've got my own show on Saturday mornings. And I've said this before that, the one common theme about television shows, which is what this is, they all get canceled, right? Unless you're 60 Minutes or the Today Show, TV shows get canceled, and upstart leagues usually don't survive. They get folded into, the World Hockey Association got folded into the NHL, and the AFL became the NFL, and the ABA got wrapped into the NBA. And so I kind of wonder what the end game of TGL is. Is it going to be something that's funded and promoted by whatever the PGA Tour and the Saudi Public Investment Fund do? I don't know what their finish line is, but they've spent a ton of money on it. And, the building, the trappings are amazing. I just don't know where it goes from here, I guess, is the best way to say that.
If people are just listening and not aware of this, can you give us some insight into what's going on in these events and what it actually looks like and some of the technology that you're referencing? Because I know I brought this up to my wife and our neighbor today, and they were like, what? They had no idea yet what this is. So I guess for people listening, what's going on?
Picture an NBA scale building, an indoor arena. It's about 150 yards long and about 50 yards wide. On one end is an IMAX movie screen. It's 60 feet by 40 feet or bigger than that. It's about 10 times larger than your typical golf simulator. And the players are teeing off, they're hitting shots into that screen, hitting full shots into that screen. There are two teeing grounds, one that's about 30 yards and one that's about 40 yards, just making up numbers, depending on how long of a shot they have. And they hit full swings into the screen. And just like a golf simulator at a PGA Tour Superstore, you see the track of the ball and it lands. If it lands in the fairway, they're hitting their next shot into the screen off of real grass that's been placed there for the very purpose. If they hit their virtual tee shot into the rough, there's real rough in another little bin they hit out of that. If they hit into a fairway bunker, there's real sand, and they hit out of sand to the green. When they hit to the green, they then turn around, and the other half of the building is a fake, it's a green, it's an AstroTurf green that can be rotated like a turntable, like an LP turntable. It can rotate 360 degrees. So, and there's 3 bunkers that have real sand, the same kind of sand that Augusta National uses, that can be rotated, and then the contours of the green can change with 600 hydraulic jacks that are underneath the surface of the felt. So, and all of the holes that you're playing to in the screen have been designed by real golf course designers. And they're all designed specifically for this league. So when you get to the green, they can mechanically, physically change the green to match the design that the designer came up with. And that's why I say it's a $50 million building. And I'm not sure the $50 million includes the cost of the technology that goes into the screens. It's
incredible.
Incredible is the only word for it. I mean, the one area where they're not going to lose is on the tech. The tech is amazing. I just don't know how it translates into a television show.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. Like as I was looking it up, I didn't even know like these teams actually have like owners. Like I saw Arthur Blank owns like a team.
Serena Williams, like Venus Williams, Steph Curry. It's a who's who. I mean, and you're right. Arthur Blank, Fenway Sports Group, like anybody, a lot of the same investors that are in the Strategic Sports Group that's supposedly going to bail out the PGA Tour or help them with their negotiations with the Saudis and the Public Investment Fund. A lot of those same investors are invested in TGL. The difference being that TGL is sanctioned by the PGA Tour. They're all PGA Tour players. They represent cities, which makes no sense to me because they play all their matches in one building. But I guess they wanted to create some regional allegiances and maybe sell more merchandise or whatever. But
yeah,
like Atlanta, Bay Area, Jupiter Links, you guys, New York, whatever. And there has actually been a whisper in the last couple of weeks, the possibility of them building another one of these or 2 or 3 more of these buildings in like Scottsdale or in Dallas, where a lot of other tour players live. So you create 4 or 8 or 10 more franchises, get more players involved who live closer to the buildings, and then it becomes a bigger project. But yeah, for now, it's all centered in this one building in Palm Beach Gardens.
I feel like it would work in Vegas one day if it really starts going.
Don't you think?
It seems like such a Vegas thing, like off the strip. Yeah, I'll take tickets to that. Whoa, Rory's in there? Hell yeah.
Right. And the building that exists now is on the campus, as I said, of Palm Beach State College. And they have access to it when the guys aren't playing or practicing. And I spoke to Mike McCarley, on that media day, and he said, yeah, the school doesn't know what to do with it. So it could be an event venue. It could be the world's most expensive Topgolf. Like if they build 4 or 5 of these around the country, I mean, what big company wouldn't spend 20 grand for one night to rent that thing out and take their employees and their biggest clients? I can see that deal in my head right now. Like I think that's a no-brainer. But in the short term, this little, they're not even like Division 3. They're like NJCAA or something like that. It's a junior college in Palm Beach Gardens, has this multi-million-dollar building on their campus, and they have no clue what to do with it.
I hope they do like psychology classes in there or something like that, where they got hey, get out of the bunker.
Right.
So we're in this era now where we are seeing a lot of innovation in sports and change, and whether it's everything from the sports gambling aspect, or whether it's NASCAR and racing in the Coliseums, the Vegas strips, the tournament in the NBA in the middle of the season. Like, we are seeing change. Like, do you think the main goal of this is to attract new fans, the younger fan, the younger group, a new demographic, or is it to just grow what they already have and just keep people year round rather than during that golf season?
The holy grail in golf is to get younger eyeballs, because golf to this point has been supported by guys who look like me, 45 to 54-year-old white men. That's the target, not target. That is the most, what's the word?
The majority.
The most reliable demographic, the most loyal demographic to professional golf. And so golf has always, for the last 20 or 30 years, tried to get younger. Live is trying to get younger. TGL is trying to get younger, and the PGA Tour. And, we might talk about this later, but this letter that Justin Thomas wrote to the rest of the PGA Tour about how we need to cooperate more with our broadcast partners, that's an attempt to get to younger eyeballs. They all want to get to the demographic that currently follows golf on YouTube. Can this work? I mean, it can, but I think there's a lot of room to grow in that area. My son played golf when he was in junior high school, and he's 24, and my daughter's 21, and they don't watch golf. And if they do, if they watch anything, they're watching it on YouTube. They're watching it online. So to answer your question, again, the holy grail in golf is to get young. They want younger people watching. And I think TGL is a part of that.
One of the thoughts that went through my head was, with how big esports is getting, and you see arenas selling out esports and e-games, this is kind of, touching into that a little bit as far as the screens and the technology. And so I'm wondering if that's, that audience kind of can shift over a little bit too.
Yeah. I mean, I don't watch esports because I'm too old for it. I'm not the demographic, but I would assume that the people that are into that might be attracted to TGL, and maybe that's what TGL is banking on, that, hey, it kind of looks like a video game. If you like watching, the Madden Super Bowl from Full Sail University here in Orlando, then you might decide to watch TGL. I could buy that, surely.
You talk about youth and all. I saw recently how Charlie Woods was out there, got his hole-in-one in front of his dad. He's so happy. Do you feel they are setting him up good enough where he can be a regular golfer, or do you feel he's going to be like the Bronny James, where we're just going to bequeath, you got to be just like dad, and put all this pressure on him right away?
That's a great question. I think, for all of his faults and foibles, I think Tiger has been a really good dad to his kids. It feels like he's really trying to protect them and keep them safe and keep them, allow them to be themselves. I don't get the sense, and I don't pretend to know Tiger at all. I'm just following the coverage like you guys do. I don't get the sense that he ever pressured that kid to play golf. I think that his son watched him do what he does and said, that looks pretty cool. In much the same way, I don't feel like LeBron James ever pushed his kids into playing basketball. That was just their life. I'm sure they had a full court, behind the house. Charlie, again, to the best of my knowledge, has some friends that kind of keep him grounded, and He might play in college, he might not. But I hope that we as the golf media are not pushing him towards anything. He seems like given the circumstances, given how famous his dad is, he seems like a pretty well-adjusted young man. And I hope that stays that way.
As we talk about the growth of the game and the changing that's going on amongst the players wanting a younger audience, when I'm curious, you're involved in the golf media amongst old announcers, amongst young. I'm curious what the feeling is amongst you and your colleagues. Are people very excited by this? Are we down for it, or do you find a lot of guys being more, let's keep the game traditional the way it is?
I think that we as announcers and we in the golf media have to listen to the fans. And when I saw Justin Thomas post this open letter to the rest of the tour saying, he's on this committee, this the Players Action Committee, that advisory committee that talks to the media partners, ESPN, CBS, and NBC. We should do more walk and talks. We should be more open to the media partners and give them more access. I think that is a little bit late to the game. I mean, most of the responses that I see to that letter were like, show fewer commercials, show more shots. We don't care what the announcers have to say unless it's like really good analysis. I think people would like, from what I read, I think people want to see more golf and less vacuous talk. If you want to hear a player talk to a caddy, that's great. But I don't know that we as play-by-play I'm a play-by-play guy. I'm not an analyst. I never played on tour, right? I'm not Lanny Watkins. So my job is to set up the shot. What hole are we on? What shot is this? I might give you some background information. The guy sitting next to me is a Hall of Famer. It's Lanny Watkins or Nick Faldo. You're signing up to hear him, not to hear me. Like Johnny Miller, right? You're listening to him, not to me. If he's got something to add that you as the viewer wouldn't know, great. Otherwise, I think we should lay out. Just let the golf play. And that's the vibe. That's the message that I get from reading a lot of stuff on social media and from talking to people that follow the game avidly as we do.
Now, they say there's no such thing as bad publicity. So I'm kind of curious, where were you when you found out that Scotty Scheffler was arrested right before the PGA Championship? And when you're doing coverage, whether the radio, the podcast, or whatever, how do you balance talking about that versus let's worry about the golf?
I think I might have been in Stanford working studio for Golf Channel that week, maybe the week before or the week after. But I remember seeing the video. It was really early in the morning when that happened. And in fairness to that cop, there was a pedestrian death. Somebody had been hit by a car on that street and died. So the guy was under a lot of pressure. But there was actually a column in the Orlando Sentinel this morning by my friend Mike Bianchi, who says that Scheffler's profile has been raised by the fact that he went through that by being, arrested and handcuffed. I mean, it's, in retrospect, it's kind of funny. At the moment, clearly a lot of people probably needed a little more coffee and a little more sleep before they got up that morning.
Yep.
But yeah, I was as shocked as anybody to see that news.
So we're talking about, stadiums with whatever you said, 600 hydraulic things and screens and technology. Now, the question for you, we talked about this a little bit last time you were on, and if people are listening, you want to go to Whit's Instagram, look at his March 4th post where you see some of his March 4th, 2024, and you see his index cards and what looks like the scribblings of a madman. It's color coordinated. It's little codes and things like that. I'm curious, are we still doing the cards? Is that the only way you like to operate, or is there any kind of technology that helps you as far as that's changed or moving forward for your your broadcasting?
Yeah, I've not had the chance to work on a lot of live golf tournaments recently. So, I mean, if and when I do, I'll definitely go back to the cards.
Yep.
I will say that, I mean, now whether it's TGL, which I'm going to go, like I said, I'm going to go see Tiger and Rory play next week. And there's so much information available to you now that, I mean, you have to be really trying hard to not find it, because there's so many PR people and so many resources available that maybe the cards are a little bit antiquated, but believe me, if and when I go back to calling live tournaments, I will handwrite my cards. Gosh darn it, I will do it.
It's actually interesting. Like you done studio, you done play-by-play, you done radio, you done podcasts. How much is it just copy and paste to bring over your talent to each thing, and how much is it, oh man, I got to change things up, I got to learn a new skill, I got to do things differently because it's this kind of platform?
That's a great question. With the radio show in Orlando and Jacksonville, I've had to go back to my roots, which are in radio. That's how I started my career. As you guys know, radio is the theater of the mind. You have to supply all of the information. You can't rely on the pictures to tell the story. And that I've found it to be a lot tougher in terms of preparation. If I don't have an interview lined up or recorded, if I'm just on my own for 1 hour of content on a Saturday morning in Orlando and Jacksonville, that's a lot of work. Like I really have to write and do more research than I ever thought I would have to do for 1 hour. But I enjoy that process. I've always loved the research process. I mean, the cards obviously prove that I like the research process. Yep. But I also enjoy, getting into maybe other aspects of the game or of the sport that aren't necessarily touched upon a lot. I'm trying not to be like, give us a call at 407-555, blah, blah, blah. And what do you want to talk about? And here, I like talking about the mental aspect of the game. I like talking about stuff that's applicable to a recreational player. I like talking about, birthdays and on this date in history, and that kind of is what gets me fired up as far as the radio goes.
Now you've also you've done so many other sports that people might not know. You've done just about all of them, all through Orlando and whatnot. Have you ever, like, if you were to get called today to cover basketball or cover another sport, would it be something that you feel like you can just kind of jump into it, or would you be like a nervous wreck since you've been so involved in golf now for so long?
That's also a great question. I think it's 50-50 in between. I would have to go get reacquainted with the sport. I've done a lot of baseball play-by-play. I've done a lot of basketball play-by-play, football play-by-play, which I love and wish I had more chances to do. But yes, I've been tied to golf for 14, 15 years. So sometimes people forget that I did have experience beyond golf prior to Golf Channel. It would take me a few minutes, but it wouldn't take me forever. I mean, if you called me tomorrow and said, can you do a college basketball game on Saturday? Yeah, I can do it. I've still got, they're different colored cards, but I still have the cards. I can get back into it as long as I know the rosters.
You see, whip out his basketball trapper keeper with all the cards.
Honey, have you seen the green cards?
Yes. I'm going to find one for you. Hang on. Watch this. Watch this.
Whit is currently leaning down.
Going down into the... all right, keep talking and I'll find one for you. I have a college basketball.
We'll do the play-by-play.
Yeah, there's
Scott. He's not panicking. He's in control. Whit. He's in the zone right here for this play. I really feel like a good turn.
Anyway. Conditions are fine. There's no weather. It's not raining. But Whit comes up short. He does not find the card.
All right. I didn't want to waste too much time. I'll find it for the next episode.
Yeah. Well, speaking of which, since you're in the area talking about sports, now how sad is it? Like the Tampa Bay Rays, they got to be going into Yankee Stadium and they'll play in their field for a full season. Now we got two major league teams in minor league stadiums.
Yeah, pretty weird situation and a horrible situation, obviously, for St. Pete and Tampa that the hurricane damaged, Tropicana Field. And the Rays have always had kind of a tenuous relationship with the Bay Area. There's always been this question hanging over their heads about where they're going to play. I mean, they're playing in a building that wasn't built for them, right? That building was built in the hopes of attracting a major league team to move. They were targeting the Chicago White Sox at one point and the Seattle Mariners at another point. So this expansion team in Tampa moved into a building they didn't want, and then it got knocked out by a hurricane. I've seen Steinbrenner Field in Tampa. It's not terrible, but a major league team playing to a capacity of 12,000 in the summer outdoors with no roof. It's going to be a tough sell. And my understanding from reading some of the news reports is that, their stadium deal for whatever they're going to get done is not completely solidified yet. However, Major League Baseball has said they are committed to having a team in Tampa Bay. So there's that. It's going to be a hard couple of years, for the Rays in Tampa and for the A's in Sacramento, right, where they're playing?
Sacramento for the moment, yeah.
So, yeah, weird time for baseball, I guess.
Yeah. I got a question for you. So how is your golf game these days? How do you get time to actually work on your game, or do you spend most of it analyzing other people's game?
No, I have plenty of time to play. I just don't. Well, right now, I mean, in Orlando, it's 40 degrees.
I saw that.
Watch the weather. It's snowing in Pensacola. It's the apocalypse.
Going to ask if you were in that snow area.
No, we're not in the snow area, but it was in the 30s today in Orlando, and so we haven't had a lot of chances to play. But I will get back out and play pretty soon.
Did you ever play with other announcers? Is there like an announcer who is like the guy on the course?
I played with Curtis Strange once in West Hartford, Connecticut, and he jumped out of the car in tennis shoes and shot even par at a golf course he had never seen before, which is, about what these guys do. I've played with Colton Oast. He's not long, but he's very straight and can putt the lights out, which is why he won a U.S. Amateur Championship. Kay Cockrell can still play. She won two U.S. Women's AMs. I played with a lot of Aaron Oberholzer is a good player. But it's been a while since I've been on the road to see these guys. But yeah, there's a lot of these guys that can still play.
That's awesome.
Do you ever hit a shot and try to tell the golfers how great it was, and they're just looking at you like, yeah, that's a Tuesday for me?
So I either play with Golf Channel colleagues who are ex-players and therefore way better than me, or I play with my dad, who's 80, and his peer group, who are all also in their 80s, retired judges and lawyers and bankers. So I'm like the low handicap by 10 shots in that group. And
I was really hoping you were going to say, and they're all better than me too. So
no, they're not. No. But when I play with the Golf Channel guys, they're way better than me. Yeah. So I'm kind of somewhere in the middle. I'm not the guy you base your handicap off. I'm somewhere in the middle.
Well, Whit, we really had fun bringing you back on. It was a real pleasure. You said some nice words when we sent out the email talking about our 500th episode.
Congratulations, by the way. I just got to 55 on my podcast, and I'm exhausted. So I appreciate the fact that you guys got to 500. That's so cool. Congratulations.
We're almost there. We could die in the next week or so, and we stop at 499. So you could be it.
Yeah.
Well, I admire what you do, and I think you guys are awesome and hilarious, and I hope it goes on forever. Congratulations.
Thank you. Let's tell the audience about you. Talk about media credentials. Talk about iHeartRadio. Tell everybody where they can hear about you and where they can find more about you.
Thank you, my friend. So the radio show is on in the Orlando and Jacksonville markets on Saturday mornings, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m., 96.9 The Game in Orlando and AM 930 Fox Sports Radio Jacksonville, always available on the free iHeartRadio app. And to learn more about me, whitwatson.com, WHITWATSON.com. Cheers. Thank you, guys.
Hey, one more question before you go. Were you around when people could just phone in and tattle on golfers? I'm wondering if you ever heard a story about that, where I know they stopped in like 2018, but did you ever hear a story about, I was having a great game, but somebody saw me use a towel on TV and they penalized me 2 strokes?
Oh, that can still happen.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
You can still call in. Yeah. We have there are rules officials in the TV truck that can kind of oversee the replays and stuff. But yeah, the call-in thing can still happen. Wow. It doesn't happen very often, but it can still happen.
I just question what they're doing in their lives where it's like, oh, I'm going to show this guy. I saw you pick up and not put down your peg.
There's so many. I mean, there was one with, was it Craig Stadler put a towel down under
That's the one I was thinking about. Yeah, he was like in the muck and he was hit from his knees and they're like, no, that's against the rules.
You're improving your lie. Like, you have nothing else to do with your life. Can you just go take care of your children or feed your dog?
Does this surprise either of you two? Every comment that goes online, we are bombarded with 8,000 haters and internet sleuths and people.
Yeah, but we ignore them. The PGA just like, send them in. You're right.
Someone's always out to get somebody. That's the world we live in.
Right.
So,
Whit, thank you so much. Be happy to keep in touch with you with all the future projects and all. Maybe bring you back for a third time, my friend.
Would love to. Anytime, guys.
Thank you, Whit, man.
Appreciate you.
Whit Watson, Mike. Whit Watson returning to the show for a second time.
I mean, he joins a list of acclaimed people who've been on here multiple times and on right before 500 when the whole the escapades that show up and all. I'm sure it'll be red carpet and so many Hollywood who's are going to show up and we're not even going to be on stage. It's just going to play the episode at a major arena.
Starting to get nervous that we built up 500 a little bit too much. And boy, it might be a letdown for people.
Just a reminder, people, 500 is just a round number.
Yeah.
Just a reminder for you all out there when you're like, oh my God, what are they doing?
Yep.
We're doing an episode.
Yeah. This is 500. And here is a cheese sculptor from Idaho who says they're better than the original cheese sculptor. We brought on 2 cheese sculptors for 500. Let's get into it, ladies.
Oh, man.
The only thing I can guarantee for 500 is that we have a super awesome guest. That's all I could that's about the guarantee I can make. No, it's not you. Can you stop asking that?
Scott,
single.
Can you imagine if we get to the big 500 and he's like, we got a big guest, and I go, is it me? And you go, yes. How amazing the crowd will react.
I thought
it's oh my God, they paid off the bit after 500.
I thought of a name for that movie we're just talking about. It could be called the Burlew-niverse.
Ooh. The Burlew-n.
No.
Well, that's it's one in the other movie theater, that one.
No. Why did you go there? Why did we go from Burlew-niverse to you going Balloon-na?
Well, I mean, it seemed natural when it came out of my mouth, but apparently I probably should have kept it in there.
It's getting late. Our guest that we recorded for a couple weeks from now went a little long and talked to us for a while. So, let's see what comes out in the next bit here, because we have a game, Mike.
Yeah.
We've never done this game before. A new bit here. It is inspired by Whit Watson. Now, don't let me sully his name thinking that he helped us with this because this might not be good, but it is a golf themed game, Mike. It is a golf themed game. We're going to call it Par-tners. Par-tners. Get it? Like Par-tners. So here is the game here. Me and Mike are going to be going through 9 holes, if you will, aka 9 questions.
The Burlew-n.
No, we're not going through 9 holes in the Burlew-n. I already know the title of this episode. Yeah. So here's the thing. We originally started talking. We're going to do a game here where we are going to ask our partners, aka our wives, questions. Now, originally we were talking like you would have to guess what your wife said, but I started to think like, I know that some of these questions, I would know my wife's answer to some of them. So we flipped that on its head a little bit. Now, I am going to have to guess what Mike's wife responded to these questions, and Mike is going to have to guess what my wife responded to these questions. Now, as with golf, you're trying to get the lowest score possible. Okay. Every hole in this course is a par 3, if you will. Yeah. Doesn't really matter. It's all about total score in the end, but you can go as far as bogeying, or you can get as high as a 6. Okay.
Right.
So we have 9 holes, 6 options for each question. Now,
but there are some catches there.
Go ahead, Mike.
Well, we are going to designate 2 holes to have hazards, if you will, a sand bunker and a water trap. And in those scenarios, there's 1 extra option to pick from. But also, we're going to have both of us have 2 caddy options, if you will. So we're going to talk to our caddy, and that will mean we get to have 1 answer that's not correct be eliminated from the list.
That is correct. So you have options for help, and the opponent also has options for making a question slightly harder. Now, you have to play your caddy or your sand trap or whatnot obstacle before I believe before the question is asked. I don't think you could play your caddy when there's three answers left or something like that. So you have to say, I'm going to use, like, if you're in trouble, I need my caddy on this hole. I need to get a point on the board, or less points on the board, if you will. So we're going to see how this works, Mike. Let's not bomb. But here we go. This is Par-tners. All right, Mike. So, I should also mention, me and Mike, all but the last hole, have asked identical questions to our wives. So we are playing on even ground here until the last hole, where we kind of gave them a spontaneous question of our own. So let's see what happens here. Mike, would you like to shoot first?
Yeah, sounds good. I'll go off.
So the first hole is the sexy hole. The Burlew-n.
Yes.
Oh God, what am I doing with my life? I could be like in bed or watching a show or like talking to my children. Nope. This is what I'm doing on a Wednesday night. Here we go. Mike, the question we have asked our spouses is, what is my most attractive feature? Okay, the sexy hole. What do they find attractive about us? Okay. Mike, are you using your caddy at all here?
No.
Okay. So number 1 is my smile. Number 2 is my calves, which we know about your OnlyFans page dedicated to your calves. Is it 3, my jawline? Is it 4, my eyes? Is it 5, my shoulders? Or is it my stomach?
Okay.
So once again, I'll give you the whole gamut real quick. Smile, calves, jawline, eyes, shoulders, or stomach.
All right. I'm gonna try to drive this ball right into the hole.
Ooh.
I'm gonna go with eyes.
Mike, big swing from you right out the gate. You're trying to set the tone, set the pressure. But I'm sorry, Mike. You're not quite out of the, going into bogey territory. But we don't really know where your ball went. It was not my eyes. Now, Mike, let me ask you: do you think my best feature is my eyes?
Well, what you listed, probably. If you're like Burlew, tell me something sexy about you, I'd probably gaze upon your eyes and probably a soliloquy, if you will.
Meanwhile, my eyes are always red. I have some kind of scratched cornea thing going on, but you're into that look. So
I like it a little bloody when I
in the Burlew-n.
Yeah, exactly.
You did always tell me, like before you met Izzy, I always want to find a girl with a scratched cornea. That really turns me on. So
God, that's why it's so hard. Like all these women have like beautiful, bright white and colored irises. I'm like, what are you doing to me? Okay.
All right, Mike, stroke 2. Go ahead.
And what's left on my list?
Smile, calves, jawline, shoulders, and stomach.
I am going to go with smile.
Mike, I'm smiling right now because you have to hit the ball one more time. Sorry, it was not my smile that my wife is most attracted to.
We should probably copy and paste a list because every time I'm going to be asking you what's left for me.
Sure, sounds good.
Yeah. No.
So, Mike, that brings us to calves, jawline, shoulders, and stomach.
I'm going to go with stomach.
Oh, definitely not, Mike. You hit that one into the woods there. You were close to the pin. You could have got there and you hit a tree.
We got a long night ahead of us, don't we?
Stomach's not awful, but I would not say it is an attractive feature at this point in my life. So, Mike, we're down to the calves, the jawline, and the shoulders. You are at a 3. You are going to go over par no matter what on this hole.
Yeah. Let's go jawline.
Jawline. I do have a very pronounced jawline, I've been told. Probably oversized, but Mike, you hit the other tree to the right of you. Oh boy, you're at +4. Well, +1 at the moment. At the moment. 4 swings. Whatever. Mike, we are down to what are we down to? The calves or the shoulders, Mike. Now, am I encroaching on your category? On your calves, your beautiful calves? Does my wife also love my beautiful calves, or is it my shoulders?
I'm gonna say calves.
Oh, Mike, taking a 6 on the first hole. My wife told me she always liked my very broad shoulders, is what she told me, which I was not even aware of, Mike.
All right.
That my shoulders were a great feature. But from now on, I'm thinking about wearing some like low cut, like
it's
a
like
halter top.
You want to win like a discussion, you just like pushing down and what's that, babe?
Yeah.
You want to go to the brewery tonight? Yeah.
Like why are you in a halter top for the 3rd day in a row? Mike, you came out swinging too hard. You were just wild on hole number 1. But let's see if I can really establish myself here. Big opportunity at hole 1. Here we go.
All right. My choices are my wife most attractive feature: my eyes, my legs, my butt, my heart, my mind, my personality.
Oh, wow. You threw in some proverbial features there. The personality, the mind and heart. Ooh. But I'm trying to think of your butt right now. It's not one that stands out completely, but I think there's a little bit of a badunk there. But I'm going to go, knowing your wife and knowing what she thinks of you, I think she's going to go with your heart. I think you always had a big heart. I've said this to you before as your Burlew-n friend. I'm going to go with your heart, buddy.
God, it's Tiger Woods versus a mini golfer right now because you just sunk that hole right in, baby.
Oh my God, a hole in one on the first hole. Huge 5-stroke lead going into hole number 2, but there's a lot of game left, Mike. There's a lot of game.
Unless we go too long, then we just cut it. We're like 3 holes, right? Burlew, the guys in the back are waiting for the hole. You're taking too long. We got to end this tonight.
All right, Mike. Well, I'm going to keep you on the. You are now on the opposite side. I will go first this time. What do we got?
All right, we got the fight hole, Scott. I asked my wife about
which was also the original name for your Burlew knot, the fight hole.
That is true. That's true. You got to fight for that thing, baby. About how many major fights have we been in?
Mm-hmm.
And your options are 0, 1, 3, 5, 7, or 10.
Well, there's no way a relationship ever happens at 0. If you say 0, I'd probably want to come down to Jordan and stab you with a bottle because that's.
Now, remember, this is my wife's answer. This is not me making the number.
Yeah. So give me them again. 0,
1, 3, 5, 7, 10.
0, 1, 3, 5, 7, 10. I'm going to go with that. Your wife said 3. It's my first intuition. 3 big fights in how many years you've been married?
7. It's going to be this year.
I'm thinking she's going to be on the nice side and say 3 were major.
Scott, it's a nice setup, but you didn't get to the pin, my friend.
Okay.
No,
Decent swing. Decent swing. We'll see. Yeah. I'll go with she's going to say that there's 1 major fight in your relationship.
Scott, you picked the wrong club, man, and it's just veered off to the left. And I'm sorry, buddy. You got to keep swinging at it.
Now, my gut is telling me that I'm getting led toward the 0, but I just can't imagine someone actually saying 0 big fights. There's always been a big fight. I'll go with 7 next.
Scott, the putter ain't working, man.
Oh God!
Just didn't read the hill.
See, Mike, you can come back instantly in this game.
So we got 0, 5, and 10.
0, 5, and 10. I'll split the difference. I'll go 5.
It goes to the hole. It's ringing around, and it falls in.
Scott. All right. Okay. So that's what, a 4 for me?
That's a 4 for you, buddy.
Okay. All right. All right, so 4, that'll give me a nice 5 at the moment, 6-5 at the moment. All right, Mike, how many major fights have we been in? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30.
Dang. I barely made double digits and 5, 10, 15, 20, 25.
I spaced mine out nicely for you. They're all in terms of 5, so I don't think I have to send these to you, but I will.
Yeah. I'm gonna shoot right.
I'll go with 7.
I'm gonna shoot right in the middle, and I'm gonna say 20.
You're gonna say 20, Mike. It wasn't a bad shot. You made it. You hit it forward, if you will. You didn't hit the tree yet. You never quite know. So, I'm sorry, that's a stroke.
Okay. I'm going to keep it at round numbers, so I'm going to say 10.
Again, you went forward. You didn't get it quite in the hole yet, Mike. You're at 2 strokes.
Okay. Just to kind of see, I'm going to go for the small number. I'm going to go for 5.
Ooh, Mike, second hole, no pars for you, buddy. 3 strokes.
3 strokes, okay. So I got 15, 25, and 30.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go 15.
All right, you're on the board, buddy. You sunk the hole. You kind of righted the ship. You still got the tournament jitters a little bit, but you sunk into the hole. Only 1 over on that hole, so that'll put us at.
I got 10 strokes. You have 5 strokes.
10 strokes, 5 strokes, and good. Help me keep score as host through this game. Okay. All right. Let's go over to the gift hole, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
It was also
Which is the Burlew-n hole. The balloon knot.
All right. The question here was, what was the worst gift we ever gave our wives? What is the worst gift we ever gave our wives? I just said gaves our wives.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Just to make it a little easier here. So, Mike, my answers are a water filter, a gift card to a salon that was out of business, underwear that did not fit, sewing supplies, a coffee mug with my picture, or an ice cream maker. Mike, those are your options here.
Okay, you can just send me over the list so I can look it over there.
I got it. Yep.
All right. I will start off by guessing. Let's go with ice cream maker.
Ice cream maker. I did get my wife an ice cream maker that really did not work. However, that was not the worst gift I ever gave her. It was a little individual cup, like it would make one cup of ice cream. But I guess the point of making one cup of ice cream is kind of crappy. Like you're just like, all right, I got to wait all this time just to get one serving of ice cream, and that's it. And I got to do it again every time I want ice cream. Yeah, not the best gift I ever get. So sorry.
Not that. Okay. Let's go with. Let's try water filter.
Mike, you swung, and this ball was curving around. It looked like it was going to hit a tree. Then it miraculously hit the green, bounced over a shrub, landed on the putting area, and went right into the hole. Mike, it is a water filter. Now, let me explain that. I still stand by this, that this is a great gift. I got her a whole house water filter, because she's not into drinking tap water and stuff like that. And this was when you hook up to your actual water that comes into the house and filters the water into the house. And at the time, she worked for like a water company, and she was saying that the filters aren't as good as like getting like the Poland Spring, blah, 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 blah. And I ended up having to return this water filter that was like not cheap, by the way, not cheap at all, like a couple $100. And I thought this was like the best gift. I'm like, you could have filtered water that comes right out of the pipes forever. But no, apparently I struck out big time on that one.
And what was like her response? Was she just like, why did you get this for me? Or
she was definitely like very confused. Like, oh, cool. Like, cool. Because I like wrapped up a picture of it, because it was on its way. And I tried to explain myself. And she was still kind of like, all right.
When you have to explain like a birthday or Christmas gift, it's never rarely, oh, now I understand this is the greatest gift ever.
Yeah, wasn't great. I still would like it for the house, but that's just me. So,
yeah.
All
right, Scott. Here are your
big hole for you, Mike. Big hole.
Yep. Hopefully I can gain on this one. Scott, I'm going to send it over to you and read it out for our audience. The choices are a gold watch that was tacky, a picture puzzle of someone she no longer likes,
I hope it's you.
An off-brand T-shirt that died on the first wash, a VHS movie when we had no VCR, a hat that just says Mickey on it, or a perfume that smells like chemicals.
Oof. So far, by far, the toughest batch of gaming. I was thinking about using my caddy card, but I'm not allowed to do that right now, right? No,
I gave you the option, so you got to do it before the question.
Yes. Okay. All right. Every one of these is plausible. Gold watch that was tacky. Picture puzzle someone he no longer likes is hysterical. Movie VHS when we have no VCR. Now, I will say you did send our friend Dom a boy's large hooded sweatshirt as a present from you.
Yeah. And I know we were supposed to get into it, but basically when I was in a Marshall's, oddly looking for like small stocking stuffers for Christmas, I came across, and I'm like, oh, this is so cool because we just recorded the Halloween special where it's like, I didn't know Don was like major into the movie. So I'm like, I text you, and I'm like, what's Dom's size? And I'm like, you were probably in the middle of something, couldn't get there, didn't see, whatever. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to get a large and extra large and just be prepared. I'm guessing it's one of the two. And when I get an answer, I'm going to return the one. It'll be fine and all. And I go up to the front, and I'm all excited. I'm like, oh, this is cool and whatever. And the woman rings it up, and I see it on the little display on the cash register. It's like youth large Halloween sweatshirt. I'm like, well, I guess don't take that one. I'll just take the XL because there's a prayer that the XL youth will fit a man.
I hope he just loves it so much that he's walking around with like his tits hanging out and his belly just
it's a weird
out of it.
Yeah, and it's like a weird thing. Like I shipped it. I didn't put my name on it. I put like Michael Myers and like Haddonfield, Illinois, blah blah blah. And I'm sure like it had like something Georgia on it where he figured it out. But at the same time, I never responded to it, and I'm still kind of like, I wonder if he knows it's a youth.
He does know it's you because he messaged me. He's like, "Oh, thank you." I said, "That's not for me, buddy." He's like,
"But my question is, I'm not sure if he knew that's a youth, and if he's attempted to put it on yet."
I hope he's just sauntering around the house and just that, like, look at my shirt, Kim. And then he's on this,
and then you're like, "Hey, what's the unsexiest thing he ever put on?"
I'm gonna since I have a little lead, I'm gonna go with the one that I think you think I might say, but just in case it is true, I'm gonna go with the hat that just says Mickey on it.
I bought my wife a ton of Disney items, Scott. I'm afraid she's not a hat person, and I never attempted to buy her a hat.
Okay,
Mickey on it, so that's stroke one.
No hat. Yeah. See, I thought like you were putting it in there. Maybe it was true, but trying to mislead me, thinking, it actually was true. Okay. Then my gut's leading me to Gold Watch that was tacky because it's not as like funny as the other ones here. Or Perfume. I think the other ones are really funny. Like Picture Puzzle to someone that she doesn't no longer likes. That's hysterical. Off-brand T-shirt that died on the first watch. That does sound a little Burlew-y. And a movie VHS. Let me go with. I'll go with the. Oh God. Because I want it to be. I'll go with the Picture Puzzle.
Scott, it looked bad for you. The ball was heading right for the water, and a gust of wind just picked it up, circled, and into the cup.
Oh yeah, baby! This club is hot right now. It's hot. Who was the person she no longer
I won't detail specifically the person. I will say it is a family member of hers, and leave it at that. It was I got it at a time when she was super into said person or whatever. And as time has gone along, I don't want to like I wish I could be less vague on this situation, but it was, let's just say, the closeness of the relationship has passed in time.
I hope it's you.
No, it is
it's
not
just
a picture.
It's a puzzle of you, and she's like,
"Come on, honey, let's construct my face tonight." So Scott,
if you flip the puzzle over, you could do the Burlew-n knot.
Yeah, I really should have done a picture of my face and all that. That was very silly of me.
All right, what's the score, Mike?
It is, you have 7 strokes. I have 12 strokes.
All right.
Last two holes, been even.
Nice lead here. Nice lead. Okay. We are entering the anger hole, Mike.
Yes, we are, Scott.
The anger hole. I believe you are up, correct?
Yeah, I am up, and Scott, this hole's a little treacherous. It's got a sand trap in it.
Okay. An extra option.
There's an extra option. So I will ask you, are you going to use your caddy?
I am not.
You are not. You're going to go with the full 7 right here.
Yeah, I'm taking the 7. It could be a terrible strategy, but we'll see.
No problem. Let me copy it. I'm going to send it over to you now.
Mm-hmm.
And here is my list. When I am angry, I grunt and my voice changes. I answer sarcastically to any questions. I stare at my phone playing games, ignore her. I magically have to go to the store for 2 hours. I talk to my dogs, complaining about the argument. I angrily do chores, like clean the house, or I guess I left off mowing the lawn there on that one.
Mm-hmm.
I go to my man cave and blast the television so we can't talk.
I think I know this answer. I think I know this just possibly from talking to you all these years. I think you angrily do chores.
I do chores when I'm angry at times, but Izzy did not tell me I do chores when I'm angry.
Okay. I thought I had that one. I got really excited to get a 1 on the 7, but
yeah,
it's okay. I will go with, because I could see you doing this, stare at my phone playing games like that. I remember that Batman game you used to play.
The Simpsons game it was. They actually just ended it.
No, you used to play that game on your phone with the Batman thing. It was like
Injustice. Okay,
Injustice. Yes.
Yeah, I remember
yes.
that.
I could see you just be like, like I'm going to be real quiet and play Injustice Part 8.
Yeah, that's what I do when I'm bored and my ADHD, but that's not what I do when I'm angry, Scott. Sorry.
All right. I'm just going to keep going with my gut. Not going to think it out too much. You answer sarcastically to any questions.
I do that at times, but Izzy did not say I do that when I'm angry. I'm sorry, Scott. You're going to have bogey or bub on this one.
Oh, God. Okay. I can't, you talk to your dogs all the time. I can't imagine that's the right answer, but is it the right answer? I think your voice does change a lot for a lot of things. I'll go with you change your voice. You grunt and change your voice.
I grunt. I change my voice.
Oh, no.
And Izzy says I grunt and change my voice.
Saved myself there.
Yep,
Saved myself. Okay.
You got a 4-stroker on that one, Scott, so not too bad. Not too bad at all.
Not bad at all. Okay. I'll take that.
Yeah.
Especially on the 7. That's not.
Yeah.
Okay. Mike, are you using anything here?
I'm gonna talk to my caddy this time. I want to go down an option on this one.
Okay. Let me just delete one here for you.
I'm going to delete the correct answer so you don't get it.
That'd be great. You got a 5.
Should have talked to your caddy. He was an idiot.
Okay. And got rid of 1. And now it's coming to you, Mike. Your options are I storm out of the room. That's storm out of the room. I give the silent treatment. I scream. I try to keep the fight going. I don't let it end. Or I clean feverishly. All
right. Can you send me the list there?
Oh, I didn't hit send there. There you go. Storm out, scream, silent treatment. Try to keep the fight going or clean feverishly here, Mike.
Well, since you've had 15 major fights, according to your wife, that means fights had to go along for a little while. So I'm going to go with try to keep the fight going.
Try to keep the fight going. Now, I will say 15 fights over 10 years That's less than 2 a year. That's not bad.
I'm not calling you out, but it's still.
Oh, you're calling me out, Mike. You're calling me out. But no, I do not try to keep the fight going. Now, do I try to keep the fight going occasionally? Absolutely. I'm a guy who likes to talk it out and end it, but that is not what my wife said that I do.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go with, since you thought it was my answer, with yours, I'm going to say clean feverishly.
Clean feverishly. A lot of times when we fight, I do tend to start picking up clothes and folding them and like tucking them in drawers and closing drawers that are shut and moving cups into the dishwasher. Mike, that is exactly what my wife said. Clean feverishly. The caddy comes up big on this hole with a 2.
That was a big one.
I cut into so funny. It's funny because that's become a thing that the other night we were starting to get into it over nothing, and I started cleaning feverishly, and she pointed it out.
She was about to text you 16.
Yeah, and then it actually diffused everything because I started laughing so hard because I didn't even. You don't even realize what you're doing sometimes. I'm just like, you know what, blah 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 blah. And I'm putting socks in the drawer and putting cups away. So maybe this is a blessing finding these things out. So otherwise, it would have been 16, as you said. All right. Mike, that brings us to the next hole, buddy. We're at the side hole. Who is your wife's hall pass? Hall pass, meaning they can basically do whatever, right? Not get in trouble.
Yep. If the celebrity is interested in me, I'm allowed to have a night of passion with them, and you can't cry or scream because that's my hall pass.
No. So here it comes, Mike. My wife's hall pass. Is it Robert Pattinson? Robert Pattinson, aka Batman, aka the guy from the vampire movies. Is it Brad Pitt? A classic hall pass, probably a hall pass for a lot of ladies out there.
Yep.
Chris Hemsworth, big stud out there. Chris Evans, another big stud out there. Ryan Gosling, or is it Adam Levine from what is that? Maroon 5. Maroon 5, yes. Yep. So is it Robert Pattinson, Brad Pitt, Chris Hemsworth, Chris Evans, Ryan Gosling, or Adam Levine? Oh, and before you go, what is the score going into this round?
Going to this round, let's see. I have 14 strokes. You have 11 strokes.
Ooh, the game is afoot, my friend. The game is afoot. The game
is tightened up here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I mean, these are all better choices than you, so this is why it's so hard.
As is Steve Buscemi, if I put on there. It doesn't.
Yeah. I was worried I had to ask my caddy on that one. All right. I'm going to start off with Captain America, Chris Evans.
Chris Evans, good looking guy. Loved how every movie they had to have a scene dedicated to his biceps for some reason. Mm-hmm. Remember he's holding on to the helicopter and just flexing, he's pulling. I remember being in the movie theater and looking over to my wife and laughing, and she gave me a look laughing also. I'm like, wow, this is like women porn, but no, this is not. This is not my wife's hall pass, Mike.
Oh, okay. And they also had the scene where he clearly pointed out, now that's America's butt, right?
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely
he's clearly patting himself on the back when he wants to slap himself in the ass. So.
A little treat for the ladies, for sure, Chris Evans.
Okay. Looking through the list here, I am going to go with, let's do Ryan Gosling.
Ryan Gosling, another attractive man on this list. No, Mike, it is not Ryan Gosling.
Okay, so we're down to Pattinson.
Can you par the hole?
Hemsworth and Levine. I'm going to just keep going down the list of numbers, so I'm going to go with Adam Levine.
Adam Levine, the tattooed beast of a lead singer of Maroon 5. That is not my wife's hall pass, Mike.
Okay. Hemsworth, Pitt, and Pattinson. Well, she liked your shoulders. And of the three, I think Chris Hemsworth has the best shoulders of the three. So I'm going to go with Hemsworth.
I love the logic behind this answer. I love the logic.
Now, they all have shoulders. They all have better shoulders than you, and you have sexy shoulders in her eyes. But if I use logic, the best shoulders, hence the sexiest one, is Chris Hemsworth.
Well, let me ask you, when your wife didn't say your calves, were you a little upset? Like, come on, man.
Yeah, like number one, like I gave her the list and I like had to actually like poke her, like, hey, I'm recording tonight. I kind of need these answers. Mm-hmm. And then it's like your heart. I'm like, oh, so nothing that's like physical? Nothing. Not a damn thing.
It is funny because I was trying to get my wife to answer these questions and she's like, all right, here's an answer on a couple of these. So, sorry, Mike, Chris Hemsworth, not. This hole is struggling for you.
Yeah, it is. It is. And it's just a coin flip right now.
You're down to Pattinson and Pitt.
Is she
2 P's?
Is she Coke Classic or is she New Coke? I mean, that's what I'm looking at right now when I look at these two men right here.
Yeah, right.
She seems like classic. I'm going to go with Pattinson.
Pattinson is the answer.
All right.
And I will say this was a question she like almost wanted nothing to do with. And I kept bothering her while we were making dinner, like, pick one, would you? And she's like, fine. I was like, you like the Batman and the vampire guy? And she's like, okay, he's the one. Yeah, sure. He's the one.
We're getting into a fight. If you don't tell me who you're going to bang, and I can't say anything, I'm going to
start cleaning.
I'm going to use my muscular shoulders to clean, and you tell me who's sexier.
All right. I'm up.
All right, Scott. Did you want to use your hall pass on this one?
My hall pass.
Or yes, I want Robert Pattinson in here right now.
I will use the Burlew-n. No. So we have what? One caddy and one.
You have one remaining trap ahead, and you have 2 caddies remaining.
2 caddies. Yeah, I'll use the caddy. I'll use the caddy on this one. I need to extend the lead a little bit here, especially with that tough round from you. So I have a good chance here.
All right. It's over. And here's your...
Oh, I see Robert has entered the game again.
Yep. And I will say it was my second hazard. So you went from 7 to 6 on this one. That's why it looks like the same amount. So Henry Cavill, Brian Austin Green, David Wright from the Mets, Matt LeBlanc, Robert Pattinson, Donald Turner from General Hospital, or Roman Reigns.
Oh, so you used your second.
Yes, I eliminated. It was going to be Henry Cavill.
Okay. Okay. These are good answers. Knowing your wife, I think you did a good job lying here because there's some things that I'm struggling with here. Your wife is a big General Hospital fan. When we had Sean Kanan on, right? Was he on General Hospital? He was on.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
I accidentally left the 7th one, so
I also saw Donnell, and I was hoping it said Donnell Rawlings, like the guy from the Chappelle Show. Roman Reigns, I know you guys do like the wrestling. Robert Pattinson, again, this would be really funny if he's a double hall pass. Then we really need to have a conversation here. Matt LeBlanc, David Wright. She's a Met fan. I'll go with David Wright first. I'll take my first swing. Go with David Wright.
Well, much like David Wright, you swung and missed, Scott. Sorry, incorrect.
Stop it. David Wright didn't miss that much. He just had a back with no substance.
Bones.
Well, love David Wright. Okay. Roman Reigns. I'm between Roman Reigns and the General Hospital dude. I'll go the General Hospital dude. I don't know who that is. Donald Turner.
I didn't know either. I Googled sexy General Hospital guys, and he came up to hit my list. So that's 2, Scott.
Well, the good thing is that your Google search.
Believe me, anybody like our future guest like breaks into her computer and like looks at. He'll have enough on me. It's like I know it looks like a lot, but don't worry, I'm not paying you because I have a weird reason for this.
All right, I guess I will go with so Dave Wright's gone. We got LeBlanc.
Yeah, Brian Austin Green, Matt LeBlanc, Robert Pattinson, Roman Reigns.
Brian Austin Green. Oh my God. Now I can see your wife answering like Brian Austin Green as like a fun thing from the past, so I'll go with him.
She was a huge fan of 90210. She was more of a
Melrose Place.
Luke Perry
kind
of person right there, but I didn't want to put a dead person in that list. So no, it is not Brian Austin Green.
I'm struggling on this whole
LeBlanc,
Roman Reigns.
Pattinson or Reigns?
Roman Reigns.
There, Scott. 1 over, just a little over bogey. You got it there.
Oh my God, that's terrifying. That's her hall pass. This big Jack Samoan guy. She literally listed 3 of like the people in the bloodline on the list of possibilities. I'm like, I can only list 1, so we're going to say Roman Reigns. And she's like, I have the joke and like we'll be watching wrestling and her friend will be on the phone and the bloodline will come out and they're like, oh, that's a sexy Samoan. That's a sexy Samoan. That's a sexy Samoan. And I just like go into it. It's like, yeah, let's all go to American Samoa and have a wild ass orgy with all the wrestlers. Rikishi will give you a stink face. You know, Haku is going to grab your jaw and then your breasts. That's what's going to happen on this island. Yeah, that's a terrifying hall pass.
It's going to be hard to compete with that one if it ever happened.
You like to think like, oh man, like I could do something about this guy. You're doomed on this one.
No, I'm in a bar and Roman Reigns comes up to my wife and he's like, leave. I'll be like, yes, sir. There's no options right there.
Have you seen my wife? I pay tribute to you. So, all right, Mike, you are up. Here we go. So my wife. Oh, I didn't even ask you.
You didn't even tell people the category here, Scott.
No, it's my wife's hall pass.
What are you talking about? We just.
Oh, sorry. I got the celebrity hole mixed up.
Yes, your wife is into Seth Rogen. Yes, that's who she wants to bang.
Sorry. We had 2 celebrity holes in a row. That was my fault. So this is a celebrity hole. Which celebrity reminds you most of your husband? Mm-hmm. Burlew, I can eliminate an answer for you if you have your caddy card left.
I still have 1 left. I'm going to hold on to it when I see some treacherous holes.
Okay. Roman Reigns wants to see your wife's treacherous holes all night.
That's my Burlew knot.
So you have Jason Sudeikis. You have Seth Rogen. You have Christopher, I think it's Hivju. He's the big red-headed bearded guy from Game of Thrones.
Okay.
If you need to look him up. You have Heath Ledger. You have Jason Segel. And you have Damian Lewis, who's the red-headed guy from like Homeland. He's from a bunch of different things. So those are your answers. Jason Sudeikis, Seth Rogen, Christopher Hivju, Heath Ledger, Jason Segel, and Damian Lewis.
Yeah. I am going to go with Hivju.
Christopher Hivju. Now, I have been compared to this man before. However, Mike, that shot went a little wide, driven forward, but not quite on the path.
Okay. All right. Let's go with a funny one. Let's go with Jason Sudeikis.
Jason Sudeikis. Funny guy, but not this funny guy. Sorry. You hit the tree again.
All right. So I'm down to Rogen, Ledger, Segel, and Lewis.
Yep.
Let us go with Damian Lewis.
Damian Lewis from Homeland. Ooh, Mike, you're burying yourself here late in the golf tournament. Not the guy.
Okay. So Rogan, Ledger, Siegel.
Rogan, Ledger, Siegel.
Siegel.
Jason Segel. I have been told this before. I don't really know Jason Segel that well, besides like a couple movies, but it is not Jason Segel.
Ah, man. Just not hitting the ball good today. So I'm down to Ledger and Rogan.
Yep.
Well, I hope you're reminded of a dead person. So I'm saying Heath Ledger.
Heath Ledger is the answer. She always says pictures I've showed her pre-beard remind me. She always says remind her of Heath Ledger. No, I haven't had pre-beard for about 20 years, so maybe if I shaved, she would be horrified, and I would look like Heath Ledger now. But not a good hole for you, Mike. Not a good one.
Yeah, I mean, golf has never been my major sport here, Scott. So, all right, Scott. Before I send the list, am I knocking anyone off your list?
No, you're not.
All right. Here is the list we have here. We have Rivers Cuomo, Chris Farley, Ewan McGregor, Mark Zuckerberg, Melissa McCarthy, and Teller from Penn and Teller.
Now, that is not Mike making a mistake. He's saying Melissa McCarthy. It reminds her of Mike. Interesting. She is a goofball. You are a goofball. No way it's Chris Farley. I don't see you like falling through tables and being super animated. Rivers is kind of withdrawn. You McGregor. I don't think you're Penn and Teller. You know what? I'm just curious. I'm going to go with Teller first from Penn and Teller.
Now, I've been told I've been in social situations, I'm about as talkative as Teller in certain situations, but my wife did not say, I am Teller.
Yeah, I didn't see that one either, but I was curious if like that's the way she saw you, which would be pretty interesting. Either that or she was trying to throw like sword knives at you and stuff like that. So, Mark Zuckerberg. Wow. I'll go with Rivers Cuomo from Weezer for some reason. I don't know.
Very quirky human being like myself. Not who my wife said.
Wow. Huh. All right. Now, Melissa McCarthy is really interesting because she's a female on the list, but I'm not going to go with that yet. And I can't see you as Chris Farley, and I don't get any Zuckerberg from you. So I can't go Zuckerberg. Does she think you're Ewan McGregor? I guess I'll go with McGregor.
More specifically, she called me her Obi-Wan Kenobi, if you will, where she more gets it. I did not want to put a fictional character on this list, so I went with Ewan McGregor, where she said, I'm like her Obi-Wan.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, where did Melissa McCarthy come from?
I thought like she's very like character related and stuff like that, where you could see like the characteristics more than the person. Mm-hmm. I'm like, you there?
Yeah, I'm there.
Oh, okay, he just went like dead quiet.
Oh, I thought you were about to say something after that.
No.
All right, Mike. Are you up or am I up? I'm losing track here.
You are up. Okay. Just a reminder. Let's see, 4, 12, 15. You have 18 strokes. I have 24 strokes.
Oh boy. Okay.
You're running away with this right now.
The clothing hole. The clothing
hole. Least attractive piece of clothing you have seen me in.
Okay.
Now we got 3 holes left. You still got your 2 caddies. Are you using it yet? Well, actually, you have 1 left. You used 1 in the hall pass round. So
yeah, and I have my sand trap left, right? I have
No, because the sand trap was in the certain hole, so you were just, it was going to be 7. You eliminated the 6.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm not going to use it yet.
All right. Here are your choices right here. Mustard yellow colored sweatshirt, ponytail holder I had when I had long hair, a retro cherry 7-Up t-shirt, a necklace with a penny on it, loose-fitting swim trunks, or a fedora that was too big for my head.
Oh, man. I would like to see you in all of these. At once.
I was thinking that. I knew that's what you meant.
Oh, man. A retro cherry 7-Up t-shirt. I know she wasn't the biggest fan of your hair, but are you throwing me off with that? I think I'm going to go with that first. I'm going to go with the ponytail holder with your long hair.
Yep. She despised my long hair.
Mm-hmm.
I had a funny little photo when I had it up in pigtails with rubber bands, but I never wore a ponytail holder with that look.
Then I'm going to go with loose-fitting swim trunks, just big Burlew-n hanging out.
I mean, I always bring my swim trunks everywhere, and she's not the biggest fan of them, but it was not the garment she brought up as the most unattractive clothing.
What do you mean you always bring your swim trunks everywhere?
Anytime we go anywhere, I always have the swim trunks in there. I'm like, I never know if there's going to be like an indoor pool where we're going, whatever, and I want to be prepared, and I like swimming. If I come to your house, I'm bringing trunks and all. I don't know if you build a pool before I get up there.
Oh God. Okay. I need to just hit for average here, and I'm okay.
So you have the mustard yellow colored sweatshirt, a retro cherry 7-Up t-shirt, a necklace with a penny on it, and a fedora that's too big for my head.
You did have the fedora back in the day, but I didn't think it was too big for your head. So I don't think that's the same one we're talking. I'll go with the mustard yellow sweatshirt.
Scott, my wife doesn't like condiments. She doesn't like darker colors. She especially doesn't like yellow, but she most doesn't like mustard yellow. I have a mustard yellow sweatshirt that she cannot stand that I still have.
All right, baby. Just hitting for par. We're okay here. We're okay. We are settling in, just trying to, this is where the pressure, where they start zooming in on the guy who's going to the last hole in the Masters, and you're just hoping he blows it. So it's interesting at the end. Okay.
Yep.
All right, Mike, here we go. Mine, a neon yellow thrice tank top. Okay. A square-toed black dress shoes. And here's your list here. An Irish style beanie, kind of like a traditional Irish hat there.
Okay.
A big baggy suit. Sandals with straps, or way too tight Under Armour shirts. Way too tight Under Armour shirts. So, Mike, there you go.
Okay. All right. I'm going to start off with the square toe dress shoes.
So you hit the ball, hit off another guy, bounced off a tree, hit a dog, but continued to roll and roll and roll. Mike, that's a hole in one here, which could make the game interesting. You are not giving up here at the end of the game. Couple holes to go. Nothing is impossible. Nice job, Mike. Yes, I had apparently like really cheap square black shoes for a suit that we went to a wedding with, and she was like horrified over them. So nice job, Mike. Which brings us to 2 holes to go. The insurance hole. How would your wife kill you to make it look like an accident? How would your wife kill you to make it look like an accident? Maybe collect some insurance money. Mike, you have nothing left to use, correct?
I have one more caddy to use. I haven't seen any hazards yet, so I'm guessing the last two have extra answers in them.
Oh, we're down to
We're 8
down
and
to
9.
the 2 here. Yeah. I forgot we had 2 hazards, so let me just mix this up real quick.
Oh, you didn't even have the extra.
I thought we had 1 hazard when I was making this.
So we'll make this one with the extra answer, and the last one I'll chop off one just to make it easy.
I got an answer here.
Yeah.
Okay. Hold on 1 second.
In case you're wondering, right now it's 21 strokes for Scotty, 25 strokes for me.
Okay. So, how will my wife try to kill me? Okay, here we go, Mike. I'm sending this over to you. Would she rig a comedy stage to fall apart? Would she rig a comedy stage to fall apart? Number 2, would she make the electricity by your podcast rig faulty? Make the electricity by the podcast rig faulty. 3, you loosen the blade on the lawnmower. Loosen the blade on the lawnmower. 4, ice over our steep steps, Home Alone style. If you know my steps, so you have to walk up the stairs to get to my house.
Mm-hmm.
Number 5, mix a chemical with paint for the next time I paint a room. Number 6, poison my beer. Or 7, arsenic in the coffee pot. Arsenic in the coffee pot. Mike, how's my wife killing me? This is a big opportunity for you here.
Yep, a lot of opportunities here. Gonna start off considering she might want to just get the quick answer out to you. I'm gonna say poison your beer.
Poison my beer, Mike. You just hit the ball. Nothing there.
Okay.
She's not poisoning my beer. At least I don't think so.
Let's say she ices over your steep steps.
Ices over the steep steps would be a good guess, but it is not the correct guess.
All right. How about let's make the electric on your podcast rig faulty?
That would be a good idea. Not the right idea.
Ooh, darn. Not going to get par on this one. Dang.
I'm not going to get par.
All right, so I'm down to rig a comedy stage, loosen the blade on the lawnmower, mix a chemical and paint, and arsenic in the coffee pot. Let's do the coffee pot. You're a coffee drinker.
I'm a big coffee drinker. Would be a great guess, but it's not the right guess.
Man. Well,
this is
do
where
the lawnmower.
Lawnmower. I do mow the lawn a lot. Not the right guess.
Just don't have the clubs today, man.
This is where FanDuel just all of a sudden the odds just put live. Yep.
So down to rig, comedy stage to fall apart, or mix a chemical in the paint. I'm going to say the comedy stage.
Not the right answer.
Wow.
Oh boy, he's
second hole. I just missed out completely. Wow.
He's throwing clubs. So that's it, right? Yeah, she said she would mix chemicals in my paint because I'm always painting the house. So I would just pass out and die. And then just blame it on the faulty paint. Blame it on the faulty paint. And that's the end of Scotty there.
Dang.
Well,
tough hole. What can I do? All right, Scott.
Tough hole. Also, the name.
The Burlew-n. Yep.
The Burlew-n. Yep.
Yeah. Are you using your caddy here or the last question?
No, I'll use the caddy here just to,
just
to bring it home here.
All right. Let me just see. All right. Give you these. So my wife said one of these. Would she A, hide my car keys so I get so furious that I give myself a heart attack? Prepare a meal for me that will naturally kill me with her cooking skills. Get tickets to a Commanders game in Philly and let the crowd do the work. Go back 10 times to Disney in a year where I'll just jump off a ride and she'll sue Disney. Or take me to a canine unit training session and have them chew me up as I tried to pet the doggies.
I like these. I'm between two right now. I'm going to try to just go with the ones I think are the obvious ones that maybe they're there to throw me off, but I have wiggle room here. I will go with the Disney one. You're going to go back to Disney 10 times so you jump off a bridge.
She would love multiple Disneys and money on top of it, but sadly, Scott, she did not state that.
All right. Canine unit. Take them to pet the doggies.
She thought about dogs. She didn't say dogs. No, Scott, that is not the answer.
Let's go with Eagles game. Go to the Eagles game.
She does leave the house when the Commanders are on because she doesn't want to hear me, but she doesn't hear ching ching. No, Scott, that is not how she's going to kill me.
Wow. Okay. Let's go with lose your keys.
Scott, you're about to try to save this hole. You hit it in the air. Bird grabs it in the air and just takes off. Scott, she doesn't cook. So her natural joke was, I'll just cook for you to kill you.
All right.
I'm sorry, Scott.
All right. What is the score going into the last hole? Is it possible?
Let me see. I don't think it is. It is, you have 26 and I have 32.
It is possible. No, it's not possible.
No, it's not possible.
By a stroke.
Yeah.
But okay, here we go here. You got to play the full chorus to hand that scorecard in, Mike.
The miscellaneous round.
Yeah, miscellaneous round. I went with the kinky hole. Or kinky hole. If we were into role playing, if I was to role play as something, what would I dress as? And I use my sand trap here, but I'm not even going to do it. Here we go. Would I be the pizza delivery guy, a Spartan, like a Spartan soldier, a football player, a hockey player, a chef, or a mechanic? What am I dressing up like in the bedroom?
Okay, so send the list. And I just want to confirm, is she answering what you would do in this situation?
I guess I kind of asked her like what she thinks I would look sexy in, like to role play in the bedroom, basically. Like
okay.
What character would I play?
I will go with Spartan.
Mike, it's a beautiful shot, and it goes right in the hole. Maybe too little, too late. But yeah. Spartan with
it's one of those remind you for the next time we go golfing kind of things.
I'm still this good. I'm wearing the sandals. I got the helmet on. I'm wearing the assless chaps or whatever they wear. Spartan soldier is the answer there.
Burlew knot is just hanging out.
My big Burlew knot is just flapping in the wind. Yeah.
Yeah. She's like, put that away. Okay. Scott, as funny as this sounds, we talk about this was the miscellaneous round as we try to figure out questions. I too went with the kinky question, maybe a little different, where if we were to do role play, what would our roles be? And here are the options that my wife could have said. Either a dominatrix and a submissive, a queen and her servant, a cheerleader and a football player, a bad cop catching a robber, a failing student needing an A from the teacher, or a nurse and a sexy patient.
Every part of me wants to see this in real life.
All of them.
All of them.
It's like, honey, I got volume 4 of Burlew in the bed.
I'll just go with failing student will be my first pick.
Scott, she had good grades all through high school and college, and also that would not be a fantasy of hers. She needs to pass those tests. I'm sorry.
Oh, see, I was hoping that would be her. She's role playing as something different.
No, with her anxiety, she'd be like crying and, oh no, I can get this test right, and we would never have sex in the whole situation.
Yeah, okay, I'll go. I'll go with the nurse. I'll stick with the nurse. I know she's a nurse, so let's go with nurse.
She did do bedside nursing for a long time, but sadly, she doesn't believe in giving me a sponge bath, Scott. Sorry, that is not the answer.
All right. I could see her being into you serving her, waiting hand and foot. I'll go queen and her servant.
She does love fantasizing about being a Disney princess or the queen of the Disney castle, but sadly, there is no banging in Mickey's house. Sorry, Scott.
All right, bad cop. I'll go with bad cop.
Scott, I grabbed something I shouldn't have grabbed, and I'm going to be punished by the naughty cop. That is Izzy's role-playing fantasy, bad cop catching the robber.
Wow. Okay, Mike. Final score.
All right. I ended the game with a 33. And Scott, you are victorious in this with a 30 stroke.
Ooh, 6 under par there. 6 under par. Well, that is our first edition of Par-tners. And we probably could have done 6 holes, but hey, I had a good time. Guys, it is time for us to go here. Let's see. First, I want to thank Whit Watson for coming on the show. Great guest. Always fun to have him. Go check his work out. We have episode 500 coming up next week. So we have some fun stuff planned. We have a great guest planned. And that's what I'm going to promote. Episode 500 coming up next week. Mike, anything to promote before we roll?
Well, sadly, I have to announce a former guest of ours, the Guanella Pass Brewing Company in Georgetown, Colorado. Some of you may remember we interviewed the mayor of Georgetown, Colorado, Parker the Snow Dog, and this brewery made a specialty beer for Parker. Sadly, they're closing the doors on February 2nd. So on the off chance you're in Colorado, please stop by Guanella Pass Brewing Company. But if you're hearing this later or whatever, I've been seeing it a lot down here in Georgia. There's a lot of local breweries that have had to shut down because of business and so forth. So please, if you're a beer drinker and you love it, go to a local brewery, have a pint, enjoy trivia night, enjoy some music there, support the local businesses out there because the breweries really need it as of late.
And I also have some bad news. Next week for episode 500, I will not be on the show. It'll just be a live stream of Mike as a cheerleader and his wife as a football player.
Yep.
So it's going to be an interesting 500, but we're going a little avant-garde.
We're doing the 24-hour Burlew-n. You know, like every hour on the hour, we don't get 5,000 people in. It just shows. So just keep that in mind.
So that's it, guys. Life is funny. Laugh at it. Keep the wind at your back. I'm fucking off. Stop. I can't take this. Stop.